All right, get ready for a deep dive that takes us straight to the streets of India for a business lesson, from a different kind of classroom.
Oh, I like that. What do you have for us today?
We're ditching the fancy boardrooms and Harvard case studies
Okay.
and learning from the hustlers and the masters of, Jugaad street vendors.
I am intrigued. What I find fascinating is this isn't just, like a bunch of colorful stories. It really challenges our whole idea of what even organized business even means.
Yeah, exactly. So we found this YouTube video, right, called India on Ink.
Okay.
It's by Reliance GCS, and it is mind-blowing. They make a really strong point. These unorganized vendors, they're crushing it. Like on actual business metrics, crushing it.
Well, yeah, I mean, think about it. 50% of India's GDP, it comes from this sector.
It's incredible.
It's not, Wall Street. It's not Silicon Valley. It's street vendors.
Right.
And they're like, they must have like an innate understanding of ROI that most boardrooms can only like dream of.
They absolutely do. And we see it with like that example in the video of the book vendor. Remember that?
Yeah.
The guy only stocks bestsellers. And the reason is he's literally carrying all those books himself. So each book has to earn its place.
It's like ruthless prioritization out of necessity. Now imagine like applying that to your marketing budget
Right.
or your product development cycle.
Yeah.
Like what could you achieve if you were that laser focused?
Yeah. Yeah, it makes
Yeah.
you think. And it's not just them being efficient, right? It's the networks they're able to build. Like they were talking about in the video, this example of a plate of idli, right?
Okay.
12 rupees on the street.
Right, right.
And the profit from that, it like ripples out. The vendor benefits, obviously, but then the cook who made the idli, maybe the auto rickshaw driver who brought the supply, everybody.
Everyone's winning in that.
But you go to some fancy hotel, right? That same plate of idli, 400 rupees. And most of that profit is like staying right there. They actually did the math in the video, and it was incredible. They said the street vendor model, it could actually support like 12 times more livelihoods
Yeah.
with that one plate of idly. Just like, imagine the impact.
It's incredible, and it shows that the decentralized, hyper-local supply chains. It's more equitable, it's more resilient, and let's not forget they are adaptable. Remember that rose seller instantly offering discount, like boom on the spot. That's agility, that most CEOs would like kill for that kind of agility.
You're right. And it's not just small stuff, right? Like these vendors, they change their entire business like multiple times a year for different festivals, right?
Of course, yeah.
Like imagine the logistics of that.
Mm.
But they do it. They pull it off and it's seamless. Like one day it's Christmas hats, the next day boom, national flags for Independence Day.
And then suddenly you've got like, car cleaning kits or head massagers or like, toys. Like they know, they have this sixth sense for what the market wants. Sometimes even before the market knows it wants it.
It really is amazing. It's like they have their fingers on the pulse of the entire nation, right?
Yeah.
And they're not using like fancy market research or algorithms.
Yep.
It's instinct, observation, and that incredible Indian jugaad, right? That ability to like find creative solutions with almost no resources.
Exactly.
Oh, and speaking of jugaad, the story they told about that kid at the trade show, it blew me away.
Oh man, that kid was like a master class in like, minimalist persuasion.
Right.
He knew like exactly what buttons to push to get that donation from the CEO.
In the middle of all the chaos of that trade show.
Oh, totally.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, right? Like, what are they teaching at these, like, big, fancy business schools?
I know, bro.
This kid, he had instincts, like his grasp of timing and, like, value proposition.
Yeah.
That's like, years of, like, on-the-job training just, like, condensed into, like, pure street smarts.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's incredible.
And the way he sent his brother right back
Oh, don't even, yeah.
to try and get another donation. Like
Another.
that's relationship management at its finest.
Oh, 100%.
He knew to strike while the iron was hot way before any CRM software could even tell him to.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. And then there's Sandeep, right? The wheatgrass juice vendor.
Yeah.
Talk about like a masterclass in like ethical business.
Oh, Sandeep's story, man, it really stuck with me.
Yeah.
I mean, he could easily be charging for that neem juice, especially with all the health benefits.
Of course. Yeah.
But he gives it away
For free.
for free, just as a like gesture of goodwill.
It's amazing. It's like social responsibility is like programmed into his DNA or something. Like he's got this like 50% give back program that puts most corporations to shame.
Yeah, right.
And the thing is, he doesn't even see it that way, right? Like, it's not this big charitable act for him. It's just how he does business.
Yeah.
You know, it's how he connects with his community.
It's incredible. And it makes you think about, like, success and what that means, right?
Yeah. Right. Like, Sandeep's not out there, chasing like billion-dollar valuations or trying to become the next unicorn.
Right, right.
He found a way to, to create value, to build community, and, to be content on his own terms, which is like a really powerful message,
Yeah.
especially in, today's world.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
And, speaking of like small acts making a big difference, do you remember the Cockra lady? She had this amazing product.
Yeah.
But she was like charging way too little.
Way too little.
And all it took was that little nudge from Manish, the social media guy,
Right.
who was like, no, you gotta value your work here.
Right. Sometimes that's all it takes, that little bit of encouragement
Yeah.
to recognize her own worth.
And boom, just like that, her income doubled.
Boom.
Right.
That's crazy.
Like, imagine if we all like took a little time to be like micro VCs in our communities,
Maybe offer a little advice, a little encouragement, or like help someone with their, sales pitch or whatever.
Yeah.
It's those small things.
Those little things can have huge ripple effects. We often overcomplicate things.
Yeah.
But the Cockra lady's story is just, it's like sometimes like the simplest act, the simplest investment, is the most impactful.
Yeah.
And speaking of unlocking potential, that story about those two office boys who went on to get their MBAs,
Oh.
come on, that's inspiring right there.
It's incredible, right? Talk about like breaking down barriers. And it's not just, oh, they got their degrees right. They excelled in that environment, ended up with like prestigious jobs at ICICI Bank.
Yeah, and it really makes you think about that phrase, untapped potential, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, you have these two individuals who, they start in these like entry-level positions.
Right.
But with some support, some guidance, they flourished.
Yeah.
Outperformed like classmates from, more, I guess, privileged backgrounds, you could say, and proved that like talent doesn't like come with a pedigree. It's everywhere.
No, it doesn't. And they didn't stop there, right? Like they ended up like funding, I think it was, another office boy's education. They wanted to, pass it on.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
It's a powerful story. And it makes you wonder like how much talent are we overlooking?
Yeah.
Even in our own like circles, our communities, and our businesses.
Yeah.
Just because, maybe we're looking for, I don't know, like the traditional,
the traditional markers of,
the traditional markers
or whatever,
of success, whatever those are. And then, that's a good segue into like the video's final point, right? Which is about the potential of India's ex-servicemen. We're talking about like a whole group of like highly skilled, incredibly disciplined people who like too often get relegated to like, security guard positions.
And you know what? This part like really hits home for me.
Yeah. This one. Yeah, I hear you.
Because like, my grandfather was in the Army.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. And I saw it firsthand. Like the dedication, the work ethic, the problem solving skills.
Sure.
It's incredible.
And those are the things they don't put on a resume, right?
Yeah.
You can't quantify that, but it's so valuable.
You can't, it's like, it's instinctual for them,
It is. It really is.
Yeah.
And, like you think about, okay, what are like the skills? We always talk about skills, right? But they have training. Like you would not believe they're trained to operate under pressure, to manage logistics, to keep like communication networks running, in challenging environments, like you name it.
And they've led teams, right?
Oh, yeah.
They've made critically
Past
decisions.
the pressure. Yeah.
Under pressure.
Yeah.
And they've demonstrated like exceptional leadership, often, when the stakes were incredibly high.
Yeah. I mean, you're talking about like real world experience. And yet,
right.
So often corporate India, it doesn't see past the uniform. It's like, okay, you were in the Army, so okay, security guard. Right. Like, we're not seeing like the depth and the breadth of what they bring.
Yeah, I think it's about, it's about changing the narrative.
Totally.
These aren't just, ex-soldiers looking for any job they can get.
Right.
These are highly skilled.
They're professionals, yeah.
Professionals who, could be like unbelievable assets to any organization. They really could.
100%. And it's, it goes beyond like the whole, corporate social responsibility
I
thing.
think so.
It's not just about that. It's about like recognizing that this is a wellspring of talent, of experience
Right.
that can drive like actual innovation.
Exactly. And growth.
Yeah.
It's good for everybody.
Yes.
It really is. And, as we kind of like wrap up this deep dive, we started out talking about, those street vendors, their ingenuity, their, grasp of efficiency and relationships, building those relationships.
Yeah, amazing story.
Really, really amazing. And then we like, journeyed through all these stories of individuals, like really like defying expectations. And, at the heart of it, I think, is this like power of mentorship.
Right.
And opportunity, really, just giving people a chance.
I think so, yeah.
So we started on the streets. We went, through these incredible stories, and I think it leads us to this final question, right? Like, are we in our quest to find the next unicorn or the billion-dollar valuation? Are we overlooking like the true engine of growth? Which is like those micro entrepreneurs, right?
Yeah.
Those skilled workers, like the people who are like, the backbone, really.
It's heart and soul.
The heart and soul, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, of India. Yeah. It's something to think about, right?
It really is.
Maybe it's time to shift our focus, a little bit. Not just chase the next big thing, but like actually nurture the incredible potential that's already there. So, as you go about your week, we just want to leave you with this thought with like small act. What small act of empowerment, what tiny investment can you make to unlock a little potential in your own little corner of the world, Keep those questions coming, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.